my Gemini friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today with your January 2025 monthly horoscope. These horoscopes are based on whole sign Western astrology. So when I'm referring to Gemini, I'm referring to Gemini rising as the first house and dictating the landscape of the chart. If you don't know your rising sign, you'll want to go to one of the free birth calculators on the internet. You just need your exact time of birth and location to determine that information. When I refer to a day and a time, it's based on the Pacific time zone, so please adjust for your location. So let me pull up the chart and let's get at it, because the year starts off with a trickle effect at the end of 2024. We have an opposition between Pluto and Mars. Mars is here in the last degree, or I should say the first degree of Leo. It's retrograding now back into the Cancer energy, and it's making an opposition to Pluto. Pluto is in your ninth house, and Leo is actually your third house, moving back into your second house. So this is going to be a conversation that has Mars in a challenging position. Mars is not only retrograde, but it's moving back into its fall. And as Pluto moved into your ninth house of beliefs, also a house that has a lot to do with business and money making and expansion and wealth, it is going to want to break up whatever energies are holding it back through resentments or angers or unresolved issues of some kind. When we look at the idea that Cancer is your second house, this is where your security, your sense of self, your experience with your family was nurtured into your self-worth and your confidence. So what we're seeing is this your communication style and how you think, wanting to come from your heart and be very courageous. Now Mars is going back into this revisit, and Pluto is saying, I'm ready to break up all those old psychological imprints that are holding you back in some way, those beliefs that tether you to something that is not truly authentic to who and what you are, and your opportunities to expand and grow and make money. Because when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking of, when I think of the ninth house, I think of the idea that the ninth house naturally rules publishing, branding, marketing. This is what I think of as internet content. Okay, the new branding, the new marketing. Everybody can brand and market themselves, and then, birth that on the internet, and they can make money if they are diligent enough. So my point for you is that Pluto is going to rewrite your belief system. Pluto is going to want to take you into the future as it spends 20 years in that house of your beliefs and of potential business opportunities and wealth. And I think that this is very powerful because you've been experiencing Saturn going through your 10th house for quite some time and really wanting to create something sustainable within your career sector, something creative and fun as well. So let me get off of the Pluto, because we also have three planets retrograding. We have Mars is retrograding, Jupiter's retrograding in your first house, and Uranus is retrograding in your 12th house. I think that this is very significant because it feels very sequential to me in some ways. So you're really getting to look at how you perceive yourself as Mars retrogrades in your second house. You get to expand. And even though Jupiter is in detriment in your first house, wherever Jupiter goes, there is a potential for good luck, for some sort of wealth and business to be created. And when I think about business, it's not like everybody has to be an entrepreneur, but everybody has an opportunity through their own intention to create resources that come to them effortlessly. So I know that sounds a little magical, but as you, a Gemini, use your mind and focus it, and your ruling planet is up here hovering in the ninth house, right? Well, I shouldn't say it's the ninth house, because for you, that's actually the seventh house of partnerships. But this is really giving you an opportunity to think about your professional partnerships and how peace and harmony are fostered in your life experience. We also see that the nodes at the beginning of the year are at the very 0 degree of the Libra Aries axis. And in about, I don't know, 11 or 12 days from now, they're going to move into the Pisces Virgo axis, your 10th house and your 4th house. So this is going to be a very significant shift. That 10th house north node is really going to compel and inspire you to use your imagination and your creativity and to create a spiritual connection with your divine beings that watch over you. You can call them angels, you can call it source energy, whatever you want, but that connection will really solidify your ability to bring resources into your own experience. Meaning, when I use the word resources, I'm talking about money, because people have weird triggers when you use the word money, and they immediately get a number in their head. And I try not to trigger that number by using the word resources. It feels more broad, and that gives you an opportunity to make a shift. Okay, on the 3rd, Venus will enter her exaltation in Pisces in your 10th house. Go here. And this to me is significant because Venus is in a transit yod in a weird way. I just see things in my own special way. And this south node over here in the house of Libra, Libra being your 5th house of creativity, making a point to Venus, who rules Libra, over here in your 10th house. And then Mars is at 0 degrees. This is making focal point of Venus, being very brave in your self-talk, in how you speak to others. Is it in the affirmative, or is there a little lag in what you're wanting? For instance, I am feeling abundant, or, oh, I will feel abundant. The will puts it out into the future, the I am puts it in the present. I think that being egoless to other people's opinions, this south node is also hovering on the supergalactic center at 2 degrees 22 minutes of Libra, which is a point that gives us an opportunity to experience ourselves as source energy, that we as souls inhabiting human experience have the ability to harness the laws of the universe and draw towards us that which we want to experience. The challenge is to be brave about it as Mars is about to move back into its fall, and this could create a sense of awareness about your personal history. But Spirit and God wants you to focus in on your creativity, on your harmony, on your peace. Okay, now on the 6th, we will see Mars finally moves back into Cancer. It's going to go all the way back to 17 degrees. This is going to go on until February. So we have this like hovering opposition still in play here. We don't get off of that for a while. And we have this quincunx to Mercury on the on the galactic center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is your 7th house. This is an opportunity for Gemini to download through meditation, through even mobile meditation. I think taking a walk, or sometimes when people are runners, they say they get runner's high. I think that's a form of meditation. And through movement of some kind, your ruling planet can facilitate you downloading solutions to things that will help you take affirmative action once Mars moves direct. And I think that is further supported by Mars's trine to Neptune, which rules spirituality. And there it is in your 10th house. There's going to be, as the year goes on, especially the February, March, April, there's going to be a stellium in Pisces in your 10th house of career and public status. So taking advantage of that energy would be super, super terrific. All right, let me click off of Mars. Let me go to the 9th. And here we see that Mercury has entered Capricorn. And I think this is really where the thoughts become very sober, very practical and logical. And to me, it's interesting because the idea of being a creative person will be fighting with the nodes right now. Okay, as Mercury is hovering over this 0, 1 degree, it is it is having a practical argument about what is realistic in the material world. And the nodes are saying everything that is realistic in the material world comes from your emotional body. And that could not be more true. So, as you are egoless to what other people think about how you foster peace and harmony for yourself, and you stretch for this spiritual relationship with your soul, with your inner being, I think this is going to be super, super powerful for you, but tense at the same time because you're mercurial and you tend to think it through. But if you can connect to the idea that your emotions are literally expressed through your thoughts and through your speech, then you can get down to the nitty-gritty of it, as they say. On the 12th, the nodes are going to change into the Pisces and Virgo axis. Again, this is your 10th and 4th house. I'm going to do a separate video on that in more detail. On the 13th, we'll have a full moon at 23 degrees of Cancer. That's in your 2nd house. I'll be doing a separate video on that as well. So let's now go to the 19th, where we see Venus and Saturn in a conjunction at 16 degrees. This to me is very powerful. It is a summit of strategy. It is where Saturn comes in and gives Venus on a yearly basis the tools to build that which she wants to experience. But Saturn in Pisces is tasking Venus with building strong spiritual connection. Daily affirmations, daily awareness of your emotional body, and if it is aligned to your words, because the universe will not actually respond to your words, it will respond to your emotional being. So that's an important distinction to be aware of. So Saturn is saying, are you creating a sustainable, enduring relationship with your talents, your gifts, your voice, your creativity, your money? If you talk about money in the negative, I'm always needing money, I'm always stretching for money, there's never enough money, then that conversation gets to shift to money comes to me easily and often, and it flows like water. Because this is all what's going to be going on over and over again in your 10th house, Gemini. Everyone's going to watch this transformation that you make. It's going to be very obvious to others. We also see that the sun is about to, or is in a conjunction with Pluto. Now, they say that when the sun is near a planet, it combusts that planet. And yet, when I look at this, I think Pluto is the furthest planet we know of in the solar system, and the sun is the center of our solar system, dark and light coming together to create something gray. Because nothing is truly dark, because the dark serves the light and the light serves the dark. It's a synergistic relationship. This is an opportunity to come into that awareness as you're in your 9th house of beliefs, and the sun will continue to zip around every year for the next 20 years and meet with Pluto, offering you almost like a stairway to heaven. That's the way I want to put it. Each time you have an opportunity to shift into a more authentic place of expression and awareness. We still see an opposition happening here with Mars. Doesn't feel like it goes away anytime soon. Meaning this opposition's been almost a month now, because it started really in December of 2024. So having that awareness that there's an anger ball in your 2nd house that wants to, maybe say, but wait a minute, I deserve this. This happened to me. It hurt me. That all may be true, but it's still keeping your life in the rearview mirror. And frankly, Uranus is trying to break up all the muck in your 12th house. Uranus is going to stay at 23 degrees for the longest time, but I'll get to that later in a few days. I'll get to that. Let's go now to the 22nd. This is now where we see Venus is in a trine to Mars. In fact, all of these planets are starting a trine. We're going to start to see that concentration of planets coming into your 10th house. Venus is going to stay in Pisces, and she's going to go into Aries and then retrograde back into Pisces. By the time that happens, Mercury will join the party there in your 10th house. So your ruling planet will be part of this, and your ruling planet's going to retrograde. I think it's in March in Pisces. So as you know this now, you can start to tee up things both emotionally and then taking those inspired actions versus trying to push something. So this is a revisit, and the sextile here between Uranus and Mars at this time is very favorable for moving past or having an epiphany, having a revelation, and being like, oh, I don't need to release anything. I just get to integrate it because these things are working for me. They're not trying to pull me under. Mercury will enter Aquarius on, let me click off of Venus, on the 27th. And we see, oh, well, not quite, a little later in the day. So I'll go to the 28th. But there we see an exact conjunction. This is really where you're going to be super aware of your thoughts. You're going to be aware of the darkness of your thoughts, of how potentially they've held you in a pattern of I must. Your ruling planet Mercury also rules Virgo, where the South Node has moved into. And so there could be a little bit of you that is constantly being, expecting perfection from yourself. And, if you start to rewrite that and say, I'm fabulously flawed and everything about me is working for me to enlighten me and to make me more aware and intentional, because we have the moon also coming into this little party here. So it could be a day when you review your children, your cousins, your siblings, your own childhood, how you were raised, and then given the opportunity to move beyond those emotional scars. Let's just say it what it is. We will have a new moon in Aquarius on the 29th. I'll be doing a separate video on that. And then on the 30th, we're going to see Uranus move direct in your in your 12th house. Now, this is significant because Uranus has been stationed at 23 degrees from December 19th all the way through till March 12th, 2025. So literally Uranus is sitting in your 12th house, like I feel like standing with his hands on his hips going, are you willing to transform? Are you willing to stop saying the same story over and over again? And I think that is further evidenced by Jupiter making a trine to the sun here, an awareness of what I want and the expansion of myself. The sun rules the ego expression out into the world. Jupiter rules expansion. They're both at the 11th degree on this day of the year, which to me is making me mindful of my thoughts. Now, Jupiter is in detriment in your first house, but wherever Jupiter goes, to me, Jupiter is a natural world traveler. So the challenge here is to be aware of the subtleties of your verbiage. Sometimes people say, oh, that's just semantics, but the vibration, the way that it hits the universe, it is not semantics. Each word has an emotional vibration. So you're going to be tasked to be aware of that. Now, we are going to see on the last day of the month, I've been doing a lot of videos. Venus and Neptune are in an exact conjunction at the Gemini degree. I think that this is the beginning of really having a conversation with my soul, expressing myself in a way to myself about what I want in the form of, if I could do any job in the world, if I could be in any, if I was to pick how people view me, what would my story be? Because it's also a house where your status changes from single to married, from married to divorced, from childless to parent. There's a lot of status changes here. So the moon will go through this whole house, and then Saturn is going to come moving up here. Mercury's going to move in. Venus is going to retrograde, and there's going to be a big powerhouse this whole springtime coming up for you. And I think that's important because as you pay attention to that, you can tee up the activities that take place in that house. Okay, I'm going to unshare. So that's it for January. And I got to say, the beginning of 2020 I'm sorry, 2020. What year am I in? 2025 is pretty intense overall. I did a yearly video for you month by month talking about some of the highlights that are going to be happening. So I hope you'll check that out. And also, I did a January love and a money tarot spread for you. So I hope you'll check that out. Both videos will be available at the end of this video. You can just click on the link. And in the meantime, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, share the videos, comment. I read all the comments. I don't always get a chance to write back, but I try to. And I've got a lot of video, a lot more content coming out this year. So I hope you'll be around for that. Okay, that's it for January. We'll see you in February. Have a lovely, lovely January. Happy New Year, Gemini.